Hey y'all, Sam Sanders here. These days I feel like I can't make sense of the news until I've talked it out with my friends. So I made a new show where we do that every week. It's called It's Been a Minute. That's my way of saying let's catch up. Find It's Been a Minute now on the NPR One app or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. And we're broadcasting this week from the Return to Sender Department here at Car Talk Plaza.
This is an interesting little story, man. One day, God was looking down at Earth and saw all of the evil that was going on, and we know all about that.
Much of that, indeed.
He decided to send an angel down to Earth to check it out. He called one of his best angels, Mario, and sent St. Mario to the Earth for a little while. When Mario returned, she told God, yes, it is bad on Earth. 95% of it is bad, and about 5% of it is good. Well, he thought for a moment and thought maybe he'd better send down a second angel to get another point of view. God called another angel and sent him to Earth for a time. The angel went back to God and he said, yes, the Earth is in decline. 95% is bad, and 5% is good. God said, this is not good. So he decides to send an email to the 5% who were good. He wanted to encourage them, to give them a little something to help them keep going.
Oh, yeah? Well,
and do you know what the email said?
Well, no.
Oh, you didn't get one either, huh? That was a dirty trick. That was it.
Well, if your car is one of the 95% that ain't good, give us a call at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. We're here to help. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Nancy from Edmonds, Washington.
Hi, Nancy. Did you get an email from God?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, he had it Nancy with a Y. So I got
Oh, excellent.
What's going on, Nancy?
I have a Isuzu Rodeo, 6-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, automatic, and it's been a great car. I use it primarily for my catering business, and about in the last 2 months, it's been like pulling back, almost like bucking, and then every once in a while it would just fly forward, and then I'd be pulling back, almost like I had my parking brake on.
How long has it been doing this?
I'd say about 2 months, and at first I suspected I always go to the same gas station, but I went to a different gas station.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
So I thought, okay, I have bad gas.
The gas is always a good...
This thing has like 60,000 miles?
Oh, many more.
More than that.
How many more?
80.
I think it's more about 80.
Yeah, I could feel 80. I felt 80.
What you describe to me is a classic clogged fuel filter. And I would be willing to bet if you could find a hill long enough,
you wouldn't make it.
You wouldn't make it. The thing would begin to lose power, and it would lose more and more and more until finally it would just choke and die by the side of the road and then roll over.
Oh, and I would, of course, be on the way to do a big event.
Exactly. Right, with 1,000 salmon...
croquettes.
Okay, I'm going to ask a dangerous question here.
I don't know if I can take it.
How about on, what do you call them out there, freeways, highways, or what?
Freeways, yeah.
Freeways. How about on the freeway, if you get up to like 65 or 60 miles an hour for a long time?
Yes, I drove myself to the airport the other day.
Yeah, and?
And it was doing it.
The right answer. That was close. I had to ask it, though. I mean, it would not have been ethical to not ask that question and send Nancy off on her merry way.
I do it every week. But I think you should take it to your local filling station or wherever you get it serviced and ask them to change the gas filter.
Is that something that one of those fast oil places does?
No, I wouldn't take it to them. No,
Okay.
they may change the oil filter instead.
Don't you have a mechanic that you sort of go
No.
to?
Tell the truth.
A general practitioner? An internist? Your primary care physician?
No.
You don't have one?
I've been lucky. My car has been great.
Yeah.
Well, it has.
Right. Until now that the fuel filter's all plugged up. When you get that filter changed, You can drive this thing and without a worry in the world. While you're at it, you may want to have them check like the spark plugs and the air filter and those things because those could cause the same kind of symptom.
Okay.
So you might need a good general tune-up.
If you don't have a good primary care physician,
I'll come
you
to
could
Cambridge.
you go to our website, cartalk.com, and you go to the mechanics files, and you put in Edmonds, Washington, and it will find you a bunch of mechanics who have been recommended by Car Talk listeners and Car Talk visitors to the website.
Oh, great. Okay.
Give it a shot, Nancy.
Not that they're any good, but somebody thinks they're good. They may be their own mothers, for all we know. What do we know?
See you later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name's Bert, and I'm calling from Sebastopol, California.
Hi, Bert.
Sebastopol.
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 In Russian, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got it. It's in the Crimea, isn't it?
Yes, it
On
is.
the Black Sea, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up, Bert?
Well, what's up is I have a 75 280Z, and I bought this thing for just for transportation, but it turns out that it's a pretty interesting little sports car, kind of dated, but
Yeah, it is.
fairly genuine,
Yeah.
sporty. So I had my mechanic go through it and replace all of the fuel line hoses and so on that were getting old and brittle.
Uh-huh.
And shortly after that, I was invited up into the mountains on a wild boar hunt, and I took the 280, not thinking that, whether or not the hunt would be successful.
You never expected to actually get a wild boar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well, I
actually got
wouldn't.
one.
Yeah.
And it was a trophy hog of some 200 pounds or so.
Yeah.
I ended up with this boar carcass anyway, neatly dressed and wrapped in muslin, stuffed into this 280Z.
In the passenger seat.
In the passenger seats, so
And
you
headed
can drive
home.
in the
This thing
high-speed
looked
lane.
like a body headed for some remote site, And then the rains start to come, and I turn on my windshield wipers, and the car quits
Oh.
in the road. No lights, no wiper, no radio, and most important, no ignition.
Yeah.
But anyway, I made it into town, and the next day towed the car into the mechanic, and the mechanic said that one of the hoses he'd replaced was still leaking and spritzing gasoline onto my generator, or alternator, rather. And he replaced the alternator for some $250 or so, but he said gas doesn't hurt alternators. That even though the alternator was drowned in gasoline, it doesn't bother them. And I thought this was rather suspicious at best. And
Oh, in other words, you are suspicious that he's replacing something and charging you where you think he should have been replacing it free of charge.
well, I didn't question his
Veracity?
analysis, and I've questioned it since.
Okay, so he's claiming that the alternator just happened to die on
Yeah.
that particular moment when you turned on the windshield wipers.
Right.
And it had nothing to do with the gas spewing all over it.
No, he said gasoline. He said he checked into it, and gasoline doesn't hurt alternators.
What's his name? What's your mechanic's name?
Fred.
What's his name?
Yeah, it's
Bill.
important, huh?
Bill the mechanic.
Bill. I'm with Bill. Bill is one of my brethren. I mean, we have to stick together. I mean, we have to.
No matter what Bill says, he's right.
Absolutely.
Well,
No, Bill is right. Gasoline will not hurt. The only danger, as a matter of fact, think about when you drive in a rainstorm. The alternator is wide open. I mean, you've got an armature spinning around or a stator or whatever they call that thing.
Yeah.
You got this thing spinning around and water's going in and splashing all over the place.
and nothing shorts out.
Nothing shorts out.
Right.
So the gasoline wouldn't have any. The only danger, I would imagine,
a
is
fire.
that a spark could ignite the gasoline and set the car on fire. But if that didn't happen, there'd be no reason why the alternator would stop working if it were getting wet with gasoline. I suppose if it were submerged, it might not work.
What?
And moreover, I haven't used that for a week or two. The alternator could easily be 18 years old, couldn't it?
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, here's a test. I mean, I think it's important to know the truth, and it's simple.
Go. You have a self-service station nearby.
Yes.
You know what it says? Turn off the engine before refueling.
Don't.
Open the hood. Flip that thing on.
And just pour it right
And
into the
just
engine.
pump the gas right onto that thing and see if it conks out.
Yeah. And if the car burns up, you have roast pig for dinner. I I mean, what could be better?
No, I
I
don't
can see it now. This entire 280Z in flames, and Bert out there with his marshmallows on the end of a stick, and a big pig from the spit. I see it.
If I could say one thing to defend Bill, I don't see Bill didn't have to divulge to you that gasoline was leaking onto the alternator. He could have withheld that piece of information.
Could have.
He could have surreptitiously affected
yes,
the
I want to
repair.
say that the reason why I trusted him immediately is because he's very trustworthy. And
I use this technique all the time. Always tell everybody everything, and then they say, he couldn't be that stupid.
You wouldn't have told me that he screwed up that bad.
He must be telling the truth.
So he was. That's your opinion?
I believe he was telling you the truth.
I cooked an aging alternator.
You cooked an aging alternator just from the long trip and having the pig in the front seat. That did it. The extra weight.
I'll always do it.
That'll do it. Good luck, Bert.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your call.
I can see the ad when he tries to sell this car. 280Z comes complete with suckling pig. I'll work on that.
Wild boar, not suckling pig. Wild boar.
Wild boar.
That's what everyone that
It's
invites
like
you to a party
crashing
says.
boar. No, a crashing boar.
1-888-CAR TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Joanne from Texarkana, Texas.
Joanne.
Yes.
Texarkana.
Right.
So what's up?
Well, my problem starts out with the fact that I have two children. I've got an 18-year-old son and a 15-year-old daughter. And my son has had his driver's license for slightly less than 6 months. And my daughter has been through driver's ed and is ready for her driver's license when she turns 16 in about 5 weeks.
Man alive.
Okay. Now, we've
do
got
have a
two
problem.
vehicles here.
Yeah.
We have a 1994 Chevy extended cab pickup, and we have a 1990 Nissan pickup. Both of them can drive the Chevy pretty well, actually. The problem is that it has fallen to me to teach them how to drive the Nissan, which, by the way, has a standard
Stick shift.
transmission.
Yeah,
we
figured
know
that
that.
out already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's a bit of history on this in that this is a couple of generations back. One of my earliest memories as a child was of my mother learning how to drive a standard, which she didn't learn how to drive till she was well into her 30s. And I remember my father taking her out, and I remember them coming back to the house, and I remember my mother stomping into the house and slamming the door, and then my dad coming into the house and slamming the door, and no talking going on. Okay. I learned how to drive a standard from my husband in the first year of our marriage.
No
which
kidding.
Is not, yeah.
And did you come into the house and slam the door and all that stuff with him?
We just sort of screamed in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So this was not a real good experience either. And basically, I like my kids, I do. And I want to help them to learn how to do this. And the problem we're having is that it's not an inability to shift gears. We haven't even got that far yet. Now, I'm usually a fairly calm person, but these herky-jerky starts from the stop position, I am about to import a full-time chiropractor into the house. I mean, we're talking bad here. We can't even get it into a rolling position, and I have told them over and over again, apply the gas gently while slowly releasing the clutch, but it is not working, and how do you do this?
Wow. Well, having recently done this myself, my son is 17, and he got his driver's license for automatic transmission. And, of course, the minute he saw me drive home with my Fiat Spider with the top down, he started salivating all over the place. And he said, ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah.
So he said, teach me how to drive a stick shift.
He wasn't salivating. He's blowing chunks.
So we get in the car, and for the next half hour or so, he did exactly what you say your kids are doing, and we bounced all over the streets. I was mostly laughing because it was so ridiculous.
and the truth is that there is nobody that learns to drive stick shift that doesn't do exactly the same thing. Actually, I gave Alex his first stick shift lesson.
You did.
On the venerable
Colt Vista.
Colt Vista.
Yeah.
And the way I approach it,
I
if
saw
you're
you
interested,
puking that day.
if you're interested in pursuing this, is I don't allow the student to touch the gas pedal.
Yeah, work on that
We
one
go
for
into
a while.
parking lot, and the whole first half hour is spent either giving dope slaps or insisting that they get the car going from a dead stop by using the clutch only and not using the gas pedal.
How do you do that? I mean, will it go?
Sure it
Oh,
will.
it'll go. Sure it'll go.
What the student quickly discovers is that the first 3 inches of movement off the floor really does nothing. So what the student begins to figure
Right.
out is that I can get to this engagement point very quickly by lifting my foot those first 2 or 3 inches very, very rapidly. But when I get to the point where something starts to happen, then I've got to slow down and do it slowly. Otherwise, the car stalls. And once the student gets accomplished at this, then I allow the student to use the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And after that, I'll actually get in the car with them and drive around some. But if you try that approach, you may, and that will stop a lot of the whiplashing.
Okay.
If you don't let them use the gas.
Okay.
Don't forget you have the added advantage in Texarkana that you have no hills. So you can do almost anything, and you can manage to drive a stick shift.
Okay.
Plus, they can employ the Texas rolling stop, so they have to make very few starts from a dead stop. So once they get the thing moving, they're basically all set.
They're all set, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
See you, Joanne.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Hey, do you remember last week's puzzler?
I certainly do. Not.
All right, then I'll remind you. It was a puzzler about discomfort, insufferability, harebrained theories, gross misunderstandings, personal insults, unsupportable exaggerations, and indigestion.
Sounds like Thanksgiving at our house.
You got it!
What? How did I get it?
Well, it was close enough. The puzzler was about a meal with the Maliotzis, and we'll be back with the whole story and, of course, more of your car questions in just a minute.
Well, when you threw in indigestion, what else could it be?
Exactly.
I'm angry at my Ford. It's running kind of bad. Every time I take it in, mechanic only lead. Radiator leaks, doors don't open right. Thing is rusted out so bad, I only drive at night. But baby says she likes the way it handles on the road, and she wouldn't have no other but this rusted custom Ford. Speedometer don't work, windshield wiper broke. When it rains, you park because you can't see where you're going. Steering kind of loose, muffler kind of busted. Interior the only thing, and this so car rusted. But baby says she likes the worn a custom tuck and roll, and she wouldn't have no other but this rusted custom Ford.
And even though Betsy Ross wonders if she could just thieve out the Massachusetts Star whenever she hears us say it, this is NPR.
Support for the Car Talk podcast comes from Simply Safe Home Security, who believes protecting your home shouldn't be a hassle, not when there are over 2 million burglaries in the U.S. each year. That's why Simply Safe makes protecting your home a breeze. Go online today, and in just a few clicks, you'll be the owner of a professionally monitored security system. Plus, you'll enjoy free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Get 10% off now by going to simplysafenpr.com. Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the answer to last week's puzzler.
Okay, give it to me.
Here's the scene. It's dinner time, and the extended Magliozzi family has gathered for a meal. There's Cousin Nunzio, Cousin Nunzio's brother Nunzio, there's Uncle Nunzio, Uncle Guido, Aunt Guido, the whole group. And as usual, when the whole clan gets together, there's also lots of what?
Noise.
Exactly. Well, somehow, above the cacophony, my usually quiet wife made herself heard. Check this out, she shouted. My knife and fork are stuck to each other, kind of like they're magnetized. Well, sure enough, one of them, the knife, was indeed magnetized. In fact, it was such a strong magnet that she was able to pick up my entire set of keys with that knife.
Wow.
She had dropped my keys in the soup, but there's another story there. Anyway, one of the boys figured out that his knife was magnetized too, but the polarity was the reverse of hers. Not that it makes a difference, just a little obfuscation.
Yeah.
We all kind of puzzled over this phenomenon for a while until finally my niece offered an explanation, and when we checked out her theory, we discovered that she was right. The question is, why were the knives magnetized? And I gave a hint. We stuck Tommy with the check.
Wait a minute, what check?
That's the hint.
Oh.
We were out to dinner. It wasn't a family dinner at home. We were at a restaurant.
Oh, that's the
And
hint.
restaurants
They
have a-
stuck Tommy with the check.
He stuck Tommy with the check. He didn't know he was getting stuck with the check until he arrived. But restaurants do an interesting thing. They have such large losses of silverware that they throw into their trash receptacle an enormous magnet. So when the kids the bus boys are cleaning off the tables and throwing away all the foodstuffs and
And
whatever.
they're throwing away half of the...
Well, they're not looking. They're talking about where they're going to go out that night, and the forks and the spoons and the knives all go flying off. They get stuck to this magnet. If it's on there long enough, it gets pretty magnetized. Wow. So that's how it happens. So the next time you're at a restaurant, you can do a little parlor trick, find a utensil that's magnetized. And you can pick up somebody's keys and drop their keys in in your soup. Anyway, who's our winner?
The winner this week is Beth Bartholomew from Carr, Colorado. And for having her answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Beth is going to get a $26 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at CarTalk.com, with which she can get our summer Car Talk baseball cap. Perfect for those bad hair days, or in my brother's case, no hair days.
I do have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have a new. I can't describe it yet because I haven't figured out which puzzle I'm going to use for the season finale.
I was wondering about that. It is the season finale.
Yeah. Well, you missed. This is the 7th game, man. You missed the playoffs. You missed everything.
I did.
So don't tune us out yet because that's coming up, baby. In the meantime, if you have a question about your car or anything else, give us a call at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I'm calling from Seattle.
Hi, Eric.
From Seattle.
What's up?
I got a question about the care and feeding of constant velocity joints.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let me lay out the scenario first, how I got to this question. I was driving my car and got a repeated low rumbling sound as I make a sharp left-hand turn. And I only do it between about 2 and 7 miles an hour. It doesn't make the sound below 2 and above 7. I can't turn that sharp. So it makes the sound, it kind of groans. Kind of goes, as I make the turn.
Really?
Okay.
Okay, and that was one sound. And then all of a sudden, this first happened after we had our one and only snow in Seattle for the winter, and of course the entire city comes to a grinding halt. And then we had another sound that started coming over on top of this one that sounded about the same when I made the same turn, but it had a more, less obnoxious sound to it. It sort of went as it made the turn, but it was sort of accompanied with a hard turning. When I started hearing the sound, it became more difficult to turn the car.
Ah, good.
Okay,
So now let me get this straight. Does this noise occur as you're turning the steering wheel, or once you've got the steering wheel locked to that hard left position?
Which one? The initial
Either.
disgusting sound or the less obnoxious sound?
Oh, either one.
The obnoxious sound is it's as I'm turning.
So as you're turning the steering wheel, the noise is consistent with your turning of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay.
And what about the second, less obnoxious sound? What about that one?
That one goes on as if I was to make a complete turnaround, it would be a continuous sound. If I had the steering wheel in a constant position but locked in, it would continue to make that sound
as you were driving without turning the steering wheel.
So if you drove in a circle
Yeah.
Right.
You would hear this noise all the time.
and make the second noise,
it would make the second noise.
what is it? Do it for us.
Okay.
Oh,
You're a jerk. You sound like.
Okay, wait a minute now. Did he tell us what kind of a car he owns?
No.
No, I didn't.
Can we guess?
You can guess, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Is it a General Motors vehicle?
No.
Is it a Volvo?
No.
No, it's a Japanese car.
No.
Why not?
Then what's left? It's got how silly of me. I had the wrong demographics in mind here. What's a man like you doing driving a Chrysler vehicle?
Not a Chrysler.
Ford's the only thing left.
Not that.
Not a
Oh,
Ford.
We're in Europe?
Europe.
We're in Europe. Are we German?
Yes. Deutschland.
Are we cheap German or expensive German?
Cheap German.
VW.
Bingo.
Only took me 36 questions.
Right.
VW.
Okay, what is
VW what?
Scirocco.
Does this thing, I mean, the noises you describe, all, in my mind, are associated with power steering noises.
Doesn't have power steering.
And this car doesn't have power steering.
No,
What a bummer.
Does it? Does it have?
It doesn't.
No, but, I mean, it is the steering.
Okay.
I just haven't figured out what.
You know why he hasn't figured it out? Because it isn't the steering.
Well, here's what I'm working
it's
on.
your brakes.
You're nuts. It's not his brakes. Impossible.
No, I'll tell you.
For the first
it
noise.
It is whatever it is absolutely, and I will stake your life on this, Eric. It is absolutely benign. It is a loose piece of metal. It is a worn brake pad. It is something simple.
Eric, don't bet your life on it. My brother's nuts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what it
The
is.
second noise could be the beginnings of a bad wheel bearing.
No. I hate to disagree with my brother, but he's my brother and I love him, but he's a zero.
All right. Well, you got some speculation on the second noise?
I don't know. I mean, I had the guy look at this.
No, I was talking to my meatball brother.
No, I go ahead, Eric. You have the floor.
It's easy to criticize when you got no ideas of your own.
Well, you want an answer to this?
Yeah.
You want an
Go to the VW dealer?
No,
God, no.
No, I think the answer to this is you have a brake pad that's making both of these noises. And what's happening is when you make this turn, you're hitting the little screech reed on the pad and you're making the noise.
Screech reed?
Yeah, there's a little plate, that little reed that vibrates. It's supposed to be a warning that the pads are worn out.
All right, now, look, Eric, just to make my brother really look like a fool, tell him when was the last time you had the pads replaced?
3 years ago.
Sometime before I bought the car.
3 years ago?
I bought the car almost 3 years ago.
Oh!
I rest my case. Eric, have the brakes checked out. That's where your noise is coming from.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, it is.
Hey,
Send my brother a
just
personal
when they
personal
figure
letter.
this out, just seriously, just send us a postcard and tell us what really happened.
Oh, you both are nuts.
Okay.
See you, Eric.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your call.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
Time to sell off those old spark plugs, those 4th of July bottle rockets?
No. It's time to play Stump the Chumps. This is the part of the show where we check back on one of our callers to see if the advice we gave was so good, so-so, or...
So sue me. So who's our lucky player this week?
It's Rich from Brussels, Belgium. Do you remember him?
I don't even remember Belgium.
Well, according to the little card here, Rich called us a couple of months ago because he was having a problem with his Passat.
I went out the other morning and I turned the key and nothing happened. The car was completely dead.
Really?
Really?
So I didn't know what to do, so I cleaned the garage. There's a method to my madness here. The car was near the bottom of my driveway, which is kind of shaped like a cliff.
Oh, I got it. You want to drive into the garage and pop the clutch.
Exactly. I had about 30 to 35 feet, and it worked.
It did?
Oh, absolutely. I was quick with that brake.
Oh, man, that's great.
Well, I was pretty worried. I was, that back wall of the garage was coming pretty quick.
Oh, man. Either way, he's out of his misery.
So what did we tell him was wrong with the Passat? I don't remember.
We narrowed it down to either the starter motor or the ignition switch. But since the lights and the radio still work, we settled on the starter motor, I think.
No, I think we're wrong. Anyway, let's see how we
I
did.
don't
Rich, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, look, before we find out whether the starter motor was on the fritz,
Or our deductive reasoning was on the fritz.
we need to verify that the answer you're about to give here on Stump the Chumps has not been influenced by our staff or the staff of National Public Radio or NATO commanders we sent in to intimidate you. Is that true?
That's true.
All right, break us the news. Was it the starter motor?
No, it was not.
Oh, I didn't think so. How the hell? How could we have...
It was his battery.
No, the ignition switch.
It was. Oh, we were
I thought so. It really was the switch?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Don't we get partial credit?
Well, Tom, you were right, and then you let your lovable brother overrule you.
Oh, and that always happens. So
He suggested the ignition switch?
Yeah, and you said, do the lights and the radio work? And I said, yes, and then you said, oh, absolutely, the starter motor.
Oh, the radio works whether the switch is on or not, man.
No, I won't do that anymore.
Jeez, I'm never listening to you again.
Well, anyway, thanks for playing Stump the Chumps, Rich.
Hey, it was really nice talking to you, Rich. Thanks for letting us call you back.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
If you hear someone on the show that you'd like us to bring back for Stump the Chumps, someone where, it looks like the answer's right.
Yeah.
You can email us your suggestion from cartalk.com.
Or you can give us a call, and chances are you'll stump us right now. The number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 882-782-755-21. Hike. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Shandra Glazeman from Moreland, Wyoming.
Shandra?
Shandra.
Like Sandra, but with an H?
Yeah, kind of.
Chandra.
Uh-huh.
Shandra, from where?
Moreland, Wyoming.
Wyoming. It's good enough. It's a big state, and we're not really that interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shandra.
Uh-huh.
I like your name.
That's a nice name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's up, Shandra?
Do you know that little silver tab that you stick the rear view mirror onto the windshield with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that little metal plate.
Yeah, well, I've glued that on backwards, and because the prongs are now facing the windshield, I can't get my rear view mirror on.
Well, you can get it on. It'll just be upside down.
Well, no.
Upside down and backwards.
No, that thing is tapered. You cannot get it on at all. You have to put the mirror on the outside.
Right. And I've tried everything to get it off.
Well,
The razor blade.
That glue is very good.
Oh, I know. But
Of course,
I've glued it before, and it always seems to fall off. But the only time I want it off, it won't fall off.
It won't come off.
It won't come off because you haven't got the weight of the mirror on it. You can do one of two things.
Well, more.
You can do one of two smart things.
I've already done the stupid things. My dad tried to take a hammer and chisel to it and just proceeded to break my windshield.
He did?
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Excellent. That was going to be my idea.
That was the stupid thing to do. No, what I was going to suggest, and I'm sure you're not the only one who has done this, because it is very easy to do.
In fact, my brother's done it a couple of times.
No, I haven't done it, but it certainly is a possibility, because it's not obvious that there's a front and a back to that stupid thing. And the only reason more people don't do it is more people don't realize it's within their capability to glue it on. They think that they have to go to someplace special. But the average do-it-yourselfer who's been able to do this has probably screwed it up a fair number of times. And what I would have done is to just buy another one of those things, glue it next to it. I mean, that thing doesn't have to be right in the middle of the window or a little above it, and leave the other one there until it falls off.
That's a good idea. Gee, that's a good idea.
Okay.
So you would have had another one there.
And you really won't see it except from outside.
And everyone will know you were stupid. You glued the thing on wrong. How come she has two of those things? Because she glued the first one on wrong. But that's all right. You can put like a decal over it.
Okay.
Like a little smiley face or something.
Sure, you can't see it from inside or outside. That's the best. That's the most clever answer you've given in the 20 years we've been doing this show.
One other thing, if you really wanted to get it off, you can heat it up.
How?
You heat it up with a hairdryer, or if you're courageous,
a little propane torch.
A propane fuel torch.
Okay.
And when it falls off, don't touch it because it's hot. But if you don't grab it, it'll melt through the dashboard. You'll have this huge hole.
So all this is academic because your windshield's already broken.
But it's not broken that badly.
Oh, he just made a little crack in it.
Oh, so he didn't shatter the windshield.
Oh, no.
Of course, if he had shattered the windshield...
That would have been good.
Yeah, because then I could have a new windshield and a new rearview mirror.
Exactly.
Right, someone else would glue it on.
Yeah. However, if he did, in fact, crack the windshield so that there is a visible crack, you want to take it to a glass shop and have them sort of... It's like a run in your stockings. It'll run. And one of these days, that crack will be an inch longer, and pretty soon it'll be right across the windshield.
Oh, okay.
Well, then you'll get your new windshield for free. Leave it alone. Don't do anything to it. Buy another one of these metal things from the dealer. Glue it on correctly this time.
Okay.
And put it either left, right, above, or below. Put the smiley face decal on, and have a nice day.
Okay, thanks.
See you,
Good
Shandra.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, I think it's time for us to take a little break.
I have to admit that I've never liked the fact that we take a break during this part of the show. I think it sends the wrong message to the listeners.
Yeah? Well, what message would that be?
Well, that the radio station sounds so much better when we're not talking.
They already know that. We'll be back with more of your calls and a brand new puzzler in just a minute, so don't go away.
2 a.m, without any warning. The headlights quit. But no worries, honey, this truck knows where I live. It's got a 5 on the floor, it's got dents in the door, and it don't taking a lift. So F-150 1986. Radio smoking, the tailpipe's choking, it pulls to the west. It's a death trap, baby, and I'm putting it to the test.
And even though Warren Buffett asks for his $50 donation back whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
Hey, it's Guy Raz here. If you love this podcast, you might also love the TED Radio Hour. It's a show about what it means to be a human. We grieve, we experience joy, sadness, love, and jealousy. We can be cruel and empathetic. We have the capacity to imagine the future and the past. And at a time when it seems we're so divided, the TED Radio Hour explores what makes us unique among all species. Find it on Apple Podcasts, the NPR One app, or however you get your podcasts.
Ha! We're back and listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tapper Brothers. And we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler.
Yeah.
Now, I should mention that this is the last puzzler of the season.
Is it really?
Yes. Yes, the puzzle will be on a rather extended
vacanza.
Yes, a rather extended, not deserved vacation, but it's in his contract, so he's getting off.
Well, actually, I have to say that the past 11 months of puzzlers have been better than usual. I think if we look at all the puzzlers that you've used over the past 48 weeks, I'd say that,
shaking her head saying,
well, don't forget what we're up against. It doesn't matter that they were lousy.
They've just been better.
They've been better than the previous 11 months worth.
Right. They could be absolutely lousy, but still be better than...
Oh, they are. But they're better.
Well, here it is.
Yeah.
This is for the kids in summer school. No, the kids out of school for the summer, so you can keep your little brain sharp. And I didn't want to make it too difficult because, after all, summer is a time to, renew, regenerate,
relax,
relearn, what? Relate, and all those things.
Yeah.
Here it is. This came from Lou Gottlieb. Now, everyone knows what an omelet is, right?
I think so.
Well, an omelet is made with scrambled eggs that are only scrambled in the bowl and not scrambled in the pan. Right? So an omelet is that thing that's kind of folded over,
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, I was at a restaurant the other day, and there was a sign that said, all of our omelets are made with 3 eggs. And I looked at the menu and realized that there was maybe a puzzler here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The first 3 omelets were cheese omelet, $7.45. Bacon omelet, $7.70. Bacon and cheese omelet, $8.45. The question is, what's the plain omelet cost? Just the eggs, no bacon, or no cheese. So that's the question.
It, huh?
How much is? Yep. This is a summer school question. How much does the plain omelet cost? If you think you know the answer, write it on the bottom of a Staybell and Associates Aristocrat 84 Armoire / cigar humidor. This must be for my brother. In light brown mahogany with temperature and humidity control, custom side inlay panels, adjustable shelves, of course, custom labeling system naturally, and a certificate good for 10 free chest x-rays. And send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238.
Or you can email us your answer from cartalk.com.
But right now, if you have a car question for us, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Who's this?
This is Sherry in Cheyenne.
Sherry in Cheyenne. Sherry with a CH?
With an SH, just like they spell it on the bottom.
And Cheyenne with a CH.
Right.
Cheyenne, Wyoming. You know, we've had 2 calls today from Wyoming.
Oh,
We haven't had a
that's
call from
chance.
Wyoming in 6.5 years. Well, the law of averages is catching up with us.
Yeah.
well, I'm an original Bostonian, so.
You are? From where? What part of Bostonia?
Wakefield?
Wakefield.
Yeah,
So how did you wind up in Cheyenne, Wyoming?
the military.
Ah.
You were drafted?
No, my husband's in the military, so.
What the hell are you doing? What's going on in Cheyenne?
They have F.E. Warren is out here. It's a big missile base.
Oh,
That's the secret missile base.
secret.
Yeah.
The one you weren't supposed to mention, Sherry.
I know.
No, well, you'll have to move now. Anyway, what's happening?
Well, I have a problem of persuasion. My husband and I, we just bought a Lincoln Town Car, and we love it.
Is your husband a colonel?
No.
Town car is a colonel's car.
If you're a colonel, they pick you up. You ain't driving your own car, yeah. Yeah, but anyway.
Well, we got it home, and we're bike riders, and we got it home, and we were going to put our roof rack on it, to put our bikes on it.
Right.
And this year car, the clips don't fit on it, so we can't put our bikes on it.
Oh, you had the roof rack that goes on the roof.
Right.
Yeah, not a bike rack that goes on the back.
No, because we have too many bikes, to put them on the back, and then you can't get into the trunk until, unless you take all the bikes off of it, and so that's kind of a hassle.
Yeah, so
I'm not surprised at this. You might be the only people on the entire planet who drive a town car and ride bicycles. Most people who drive town cars
are wearing plaid pants, white shoes, and white belts, and they're in Florida. When's your husband retiring?
Well, actually, he could retire now, but, with everything going on, he can't get out. So he's got a couple more years left.
But he could retire now. He's 35.
Well, actually, we're in our 30s, and we're probably the youngest people driving a town car. I've got all kinds of 70-year-old guys checking me out, and then they're about to have a heart attack when they see how young I am.
Yeah, they say, was that young babe driving that town car?
Wait a minute. Your husband's in his 30s, and he could retire now?
Yes.
Sure, because he's been there since he's been 17.
Well, since he was 19.
Really?
19, yeah. No, that's
good.
Yeah.
No, that is good.
Wow.
Well, he's defending our nation.
So what do you want us to do about this, Sherry? We're not going to make the town car work on your bicycle. What do you want from us?
Well, this is where the problem comes in.
You're supposed to be driving a Saab.
Well, my husband now thinks that since we can't get our bikes around, he said, well, we should go out and get a van. And I'm like, a van? Oh, my gosh. That's like scream suburban soccer mom. I don't want to. That's like driving a station wagon with the wood paneling on the side.
How many bikes do you put on this thing? Like 4 bikes?
Well, we have a couple of kids, so we've got 4 bikes, and then we take our tandem with us.
Oh.
So I was looking in the paper, and they have, for sale, it's a Lincoln Town Car stretch limo. It's got a TV, a VCR, mood lighting. There's a bar in the back.
Sherry, you're a genius.
Well, that's what I thought, but my husband said, no, the front of our house, it'll make it look like an escort service with this big old limo parked out there.
No, your husband's wrong.
No, he is wrong.
You're absolutely right. You've got to stand up for this.
Does it have the privacy glass?
It sure does.
Oh, you locked those little twerps in the back.
I came so close to buying one of these once. Because
except that the kids were going to lock him in the back.
My kids were driving me nuts. And I figured the only way to get some peace and quiet is to buy a used limo, throw them in the back, press the button, and up goes the glass, and boom. They can kill each other back there. What the heck would I care?
Well, that's what I thought. And the bikes are on the top. The tandem would fit perfectly.
Oh, man. Sherry?
Yeah. Can you do this is a used one, obviously, right? The stretch thing?
Yeah, and it's only got 127,000 miles on it.
Only.
Plus another 127,000 idling.
Well, that's right, but it's a Lincoln, so it should last another,
week.
Yeah.
Right, and even if it breaks down, we can just pedal away and just leave it
Of course, it doesn't matter.
Right. So how do I convince him that this is the way to go?
Oh, that's why you said this question was of persuasion.
Yes, because he said no way. It'll look like we're running an escort service.
Can't you pocket some? You got all those missile silos.
That's a good idea.
Maybe the government will make you pocket somewhere on the base. And then you don't have to let anybody know.
Oh, maybe the motor pool can camouflage paint it for you, so that people won't even see it. How much is this thing?
It's $3,000.
Oh, just buy it.
Sherry.
Well, because I figured, it could probably even talk him down a couple $100.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
go
it's so
for it.
cheap that for $3,000, you could build a little Quonset hut for it and drive it right in.
That sounds like a great idea.
Right. If you leave the bikes on top, they won't think you're a pimp.
That's
you know,
true, too.
is your husband? Is there any chance that he's going to be like shipped out for any period of time, or is he stuck there on the base?
Yeah, I think he's stuck here.
Because if they ship him out even for a couple of months, you can do anything you want.
All you need is 3 days.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. Just a week.
Yeah, I think you need to talk to his commanding officer. He needs a little assignment.
Yeah.
See you, Sherry. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
The limo is a very unappreciated vehicle.
Well,
people think it's gross and horrible, but the truth of the matter is the limo is a wonderful device.
Unless you have to park it.
1-888-CAR-TALK.
That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Rob from Denver.
Rob, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not so bad.
Good. All right.
What's up?
I drive a 91 Ford Taurus, and I've got a right brain question for you.
Right brain. Wait till I turn that one on. Hold on a second.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing is, I drive slow. I accelerate very, very slow when I'm out on the road. And I live in a land of rabbits, and I drive like a tortoise. And it tends to irritate all the drivers. And I'm calling you guys to see if you have a suggestion on how I might ornament my car to communicate the fact that I'm slow, so people immediately know just by looking.
So it's not just that you accelerate slowly, it's that you drive slowly as well?
Well, in a manner of speaking, I drive the speed limit around here, which is about 5 to 10 miles below the rest of the community. So,
well, you and my brother, Rob, are soul mates.
Not anymore.
I know. That's why I figured you guys would be ahead of the game.
My brother's given up. Have you given up?
I want you to know that for a long time, maybe 5 years.
5 decades.
Or 5 decades, I have been fighting against this. And I finally gave up. If people want to drive 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, and the police don't care, and the legislators don't care, and 90% of the drivers on the road don't care, who am I?
Right. So have they gotten you to speed up?
I'll tell you what I did one day. My daughter was absolutely so embarrassed. We're driving along. We were going to Cape Cod here in Massachusetts. And there's only one road that gets you there. And the road was hopelessly clogged with traffic. Now, I was going to take the next exit, but the next exit was a mile away. And so I noticed a couple of people driving in the breakdown lane. And my first reaction, which was my gut reaction, was, what a bunch of jerks. The sign says you can't drive in the breakdown lane. They know the law says you can't drive in the breakdown lane. Who are they to think that they're better than me, that they should get to that exit before me?
Sure.
My sentiment exactly.
In the past, what I would have done is either nothing, or I would have attempted to block their way.
Sure.
So they can't get by. That's what I normally would have done, and I would have incurred the wrath of 20, 30 maniacs.
Right.
But not only did I not do anything, I drove in the breakdown lane.
You jerk!
I said, if it's good enough for everybody else, if no one else wants to obey the law, then who am I? I'm not a policeman. I can't change the world.
Well, if we've lost
and
you,
so
Tommy,
we've lost me.
We've lost everyone.
I got into the breakdown lane, and I started barreling down the road. My daughter in the back seat, what are you doing? She says, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. You can't, it's
How
illegal.
come she sounded like Peter Lorre? What are you doing?
And guess what? Some guy blocks me.
Good. You deserved it.
And it took me a while to figure it out.
And you know who that was? It was me.
It took me a while because there's this big SUV, and he's got 2 wheels over in the breakdown lane, and I can't get by. And I realized he was me.
Right.
Of a couple of months ago. He was me.
Yeah.
So finally, I just nudged him a couple of times. It wasn't my car. I think I was driving one of Bugsy's cars. I just gave it a little bump. He got out of the way, and I just barreled down through and took the exit.
Well, it was a sad day for all of us.
Well, I think I have to make it be known that I've given up.
But the good news is, Rob, I have picked up the torch. Well, here's what I think you need to get. You need to make your car look official.
Oh, scare them into
Make it look like you're the safety officer.
Right, the little lights that poke out the front.
Yeah, I don't know. You need the gumball machine there that goes on the roof.
On the roof or on the inside of the dash?
Oh, that's better.
Oh, on the inside.
And those little flashing blue lights, the ones that.
Yeah.
If they get too close, you just flash those little blue lights just for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Oh.
But look in your rearview mirror first. Make sure there's a cop, because then you'll be in deep doo-doo.
I mean, I will say that the only reason I gave up was I knew I was too stupid to be creative enough to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And I used stupid, simple, brawn, not brain kinds of techniques.
Mostly involving gestures.
No, like blocking people off. And that was dumb. But something as clever as impersonating an officer, I never came up with that one.
Yeah, and having one of those haircuts with the sides of your head shaved.
Yep, I could do that.
Maybe a German Shepherd in the back seat.
With the cage. And just have K-9.
K8.
K8 on the side, painted on your door.
Rob, I'm sure we've given you lots of so-called ammunition here.
I'm on my way to the store now.
See you later.
Hey, I wish you the best. If you come up with something that works, I would really like to know, because I would like to get back into the fold. I mean, I thought I was the leader, and I really have given up.
See you, Rob. Thanks for your call.
Thanks.
guys.
Woo!
Well, he's doing...
You didn't know I had left the fold, huh?
Well, I heard rumors.
I drove in the breakdown lane, man.
I did hear a rumor.
Never in my life have I driven in a breakdown lane. And I
can, come now.
And I can't.
With all those jalopies you've owned?
No, I've coasted in the breakdown lane, but I've never driven.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's happened again. You've wasted another one.
You ain't kidding about the wasted.
Perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Frogman, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Vietnam cheesesteak bomb, turkey tom, heart of palm, pop